Hello, everyone. This is the Cricket Forum. I'm Carlton Brown. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Last week, news broke that Pollard was drafted for the 100 in England, which starts on August 3, 2022. He's also retained by the Calcutta Knight Riders in the IPL, which starts on August 30th, 2022. Reports coming out of India also indicated that India will be touring the West Indies from late July to early August. It is said that according to reports, India will be playing 2 ODI in the West Indies and 3 ODI and 3 T20 in the West Indies, along with 2 other 220s at the Lauderhill cricket ground in Broward County, Florida. The last match in Florida is set for the 7th of August. It's set for the 7th of August. So between the 7th of August and the 23rd of August, because reports are CPL is requesting that all players who are going to take part in the CPL should be in the Caribbean at least 7 days before the start of the CPL. So between the 7th of August and the 23rd of August, that leaves 16 days. Now, it is rational to believe that when you leave the West Indies on the 7th and go to England, you will not be able to play immediately because of COVID protocols. At this time, I do not have any information on the requirements and the standard governing the COVID procedure for the 100. But it's logical to think that he's not going to jump off a plane on the 8th of August and play the match. So we are thinking, my view is that he will have to wait at least 5 days before he will be able to play a match. So if he leaves Florida immediately after that T20 match, arrives in London on the 8th of August, 5 days in quarantine, and then that leads up to the 13th of August. And he will have to be back in the Caribbean by the 23rd of August. My question, my feeling is that, will the franchise want him for only 3 matches? Will the franchise go through all of that headache to have Pollard for only 3 matches? Because we all know that he's going to play in the CPL. So my view, my opinion is that he's not going to play that West Indies series against India. That 2 ODI and those 5 T20s that are scheduled to be played against India in the Caribbean and in the United States, my view, my opinion is that Pollard is not going to play those matches. Instead, he's going to play the 100. He's going to play almost half the number of matches in the 100 and report to the Caribbean on the 23rd to start the IPL on the 30th. Those are my views. Now, there's a lot of logistics involved, and my opinion may not necessarily conform with those logistics, but I do not see the team in England that drafted him for the 100 only want him to play 3 or 4 matches. Because if he played for the West Indies in that final T20 against India, and then report back to the West Indies by the 23rd to play in the CPL, he will not be able to play more than 3 or 4 matches for his team in England. Now, remember, he's getting $11,700 US to play 1 match. in the 100. For every match he plays in the 100, he gets 11,700 US dollars. To play all of the matches for the West Indies, that's it, 2 ODI and the 5 T20, the total amount of money that he will be earning for these matches, these 7 matches, is 20,500 US dollars. So when he plays 2 matches in the 100, he gets more than what he'll be earning to play the entire series against India. What is he going to choose? Is he going to choose the 100 over playing for the West Indies? Because if Pollard chooses to play in the 100 instead of play for the West Indies, the next question has to be asked is, why was Australian Symonds prevented from playing in the Pakistan Super League and forced to play for the West Indies? It would be double standard if Pollard is allowed to go and play the 100 and turn his back on West Indies cricket. It is a double standard, and it will only go and confirm my opinion that Pollard is really the president of West Indies cricket and can do anything he wants to do. Because that's how it appears to me that Pollard is the one who is running West Indies cricket. And if he doesn't play this series against India and instead go and play the 100, it will only confirm those suspicions. And West Indies Cricket Board will also need to answer why wasn't Australian Symonds allowed to go and play in the Pakistan Super League, where he would have earned more than 80,000 US dollars, instead of playing the series against India and England, where he earns less than $30,000. And by the way, we are hearing that West Indies players who play for the West Indies from as far back as in December on that Pakistan tour. So for the Pakistan tour, for the Ireland series out here, for the England series out here, and for the India tour, none of those players have so far been paid by the West Indies Cricket Board. All of those players, they have not been paid. They have their bills piling up, and yet still they have not been paid. If I was Pollard, I would have gone and played in the 100. But let's wait and see, because then West Indies Cricket Board will have questions to answer. Or, as a report came out of India about 2 years ago, is Pollard really a mercenary? Is he a cricketing mercenary? And is he going to turn his back on West Indies cricket for big bucks in the 100? Let us see. What are your views? Should he be fired as West Indies captain if he chooses to play in the 100 instead of playing in that home series against India? Those are my views. Let me hear your view. The other issue that I want to look at, and just look at quickly, Indian leg spinner Yuzvendra Chahal, that little leg spinner, made a report last week that he was tied up by Andrew Symonds and James Faulkner. James Franklin. James Franklin, who is the current coach of Durham in England, and the county is investigating these allegations. Chahal claimed that in 2011, when Symonds and Franklin played for the Mumbai Indians, that same year when you have the World Championship, the T20 World Championship, and Mumbai Indians won that T20 World Championship in 2011, while they were celebrating, while they have a party, a celebration party one night, that Andrew Symonds and James Franklin tied up his feet and his hands and used tape to bound him and leave him in a room for the entire night. And it's when the cleaning lady came in the other morning and saw him, that when she went and get other persons to release him. Those are the allegations coming from Chahal in a post, in a video that he has made, and saying that these two Australians tied him up. And one have to question these Australians, because earlier this year, in the Pakistan Super League, there was an incident with James Faulkner where we accused the PSL of not paying him his money, although he had received 70% of his pay. And these franchises, they don't usually pay all of the money. By the middle of the tournament or close to the end of the tournament, you would have got anywhere between 70 to 75%. Because although these franchises put you up in hotel and take care of your expenses, individual players will now have individual bills to settle, because they will require things outside of what the franchises pay for. And you may be in your room and call for room service, or you need something different, or, out of what the franchise provide, that bill is on you. Also, you might have taxes, applicable tax to pay in the country. And you might also have fees. You may also have fees that you are fined for misbehavior and breach of code and so on. So the franchises, they don't usually pay all of the money up front. Usually they pay about 20-25% before the tournament start, or a few days after the tournament start. And by the middle of the tournament, you get paid for another 50%, but they keep back a portion of the money to settle any outstanding debt that you may have. Because although some of these people are brilliant cricketers, they are not good human beings. And the franchises cannot run those risks. So they usually keep back some of the money that if you have any outstanding bills to settle, they will settle it before you get that portion. James Faulkner wanted his money. The PSL said no. He went ahead and mashed up things, the chandeliers in the hotels, went to the airport, behaved boisterously and so on. At the time, one felt the reason why he was not arrested is because Australia was going to tour Pakistan for the first time in 26 years, and they didn't want anything to happen to sour that relationship. But these Australians seem to behave poorly wherever they go, wherever they went. Because here's now news coming out that Chahal, who is very unfortunate, because these things seem to be always happening to Chahal. Because although, apart from being bounded and taped by Franklin and Andrew Symonds, there's also a report that he was at a party one night when a cricketer who was drunk held him over the balcony when there were a 15-story high balcony, and he was held over the balcony. And if you know Chahal, back then, he's still a very tiny, petite, slim, frail guy, like breeze would blow him away. But he said, fortunately, there were many people who were there and came and dealt with the situation. He said he had to hang on to this junkhead cricketer for his life. And so these things do happen. So those are the two things I want to talk about today. Chahal accusing Symonds and Franklin of tying him up and bound him and leaving her in a room overnight, and that Pollard, it appears at this time that Pollard is going to turn his back on West Indies cricket for the big bucks of the 100, where he will be paid $11,700 per match to play in the 100, while for the entire Indian series against the West Indies, he will pay a total of $20,500. And come on, cricket West Indies, from December, you have not paid your cricketers. Those who went to the Men World Cup have been paid, we agree, from last month. But up to now, those who have toured Pakistan, played against Ireland, England, and the tour of India, they have not yet been paid. It's full time for Cricket West Indies to start paying its players on time. May God bless you, everyone. Please smash a like on the video, share and subscribe, and please make your comment. May God bless you. Take care. Carlton Brown tuning out from the Cricket Forum.